Howdy everybody in YouTube land. In today's video, we've got something a little interesting here. So this is a box. Well, it's more than just a box. This is actually a ill-fated product that was released only in Spain from what I understand. So this is a Intel Dot Station Web Appliance, which was a service in a computer to try to bring the internet to the masses in Spain. And it was designed only to be like an internet terminal. And you can pretty much tell that this was a victim of the whole .com bubble and bust. And it was never marketed here in the States. And the box has, Spanish stuff on there that I can't read because, well, I don't know the Spanish language. But anyway, so I think some of these were, when the program failed, some of them were left over and they were sold to retailers as XP machines or something like that. And this might have been one of those, one of the leftovers from here in the States. I don't know exactly yet. But it's new old stock, still in the box, and I figured this would be a cool little thing. When they popped up, I figured there's no way I could not get this thing. How many of those are left in existence, especially here in the States? I could see a bunch of them being in Spain, but in the States, you don't really hardly see that. And considering where this came from, this is probably a computer reset find, because there was a handful of these still in the box that were posted on the internet, so likely scalper, but hey, it was worth it to me. So I think we should take a look inside this box. It's just so cool. This is such a cool little piece of hardware, in my opinion, and the history behind it too. So there's the information that's on the tag. Pack date 8th June 2001. Holy crap, I would have been 15. This was literally right before my sophomore year of high school when that was packed. That's a long time ago now. What is it, 2023? Yeah, it's been a while. So it's in this, I already cut my address label off so I didn't dox myself, but it's in this saran wrap stuff, which is already falling apart anyways. The box tape is ripped down here, so, and this thing was 60 pounds. So it just got kicked around. So I don't even know if this thing survived shipping. I hope it did. I guess we're going to find out together. But I figured it'd be a cool little video to do on the hardware, what's inside of it, the operating system it has installed on it. And more importantly, will it even run here in the States? Because I think this has a European power plug and it's set for 240 volt. So, but being a modern switching power supply, it probably would work. I don't see why it wouldn't. And when I say 2001 is not modern by any stretch of the imagination, but when it came to computing standards, switching power supplies were fairly standardized by then. And they haven't really changed much as far as I can tell. Oh, this is fun. Saran wrap. Shrink wrap. So, unboxing video. A tripod would definitely help here, but you know what? I ain't got one of those. And I only have so much room now in this new house because my old house, I would have had a countertop or something to put this on, but I don't have that at the moment. All right. It is off. Now, I don't know what this MSM or WSW tape is. I don't know if that was the original retailer that would have had this thing. But, what I can't tell if this thing's been opened before, it looks like it has. So it's not new old stock. Because if it was, we wouldn't have this. Because we have brown tape, but you have this clear in the middle. So That makes me a bit skeptical. Plus you can see this where it's just kind of like running off. So this is not new old stock. If it was, we wouldn't have had that. So now, it could still be new old stock, but someone opened it, that's for sure. I want to get this shrink wrap off the bottom of it here. And it's hard to do this with just one hand. Alright. Crap out of the floor. Okay, so let us cut this box open for the first time. Yeah, there's no way. There is no way. Because I think, yeah, it's been apart. Definitely been apart. Now. Oh, crunchy. Yep, you could see where the knife has hit it a couple of times. Yeah, I didn't penetrate my knife that deep. Someone else did that, so it's been apart. Wow, it's so cool though. It's so fresh. New. I've never unboxed a computer like this before. Not quite like this. Wow. Too bad we don't have smell-o-vision. It still smells new. It doesn't have that ancient electronic smell to it. So, put that off to the side. It still smells new. What is this? Oh wow, it's a telephone. Take this out of the... Really? This is funny. There we go. Yeah. Still smells brand new. Volume in. Hello? Hello? Anyone home? Hello? Hello, George. Hello, Sam. Nope. Nobody's answering. Okay. So there's that. What do we have here? The power cord looks like. Let's see, what kind of power cord does it have? Oh, yeah. That is not our plug at all. Not in the United States of America. That is not... I don't know what that is, but that is not us. Okay, so now for the big reveal. Well, almost. Telephone handset cord, which probably goes to that thingy over there. Here comes the big reveal. Ooh. Here's the bottom of this, in case anyone's curious. Ooh, that is so pretty. Yeah, it definitely looks like it's new old stock, because if this would have been disturbed, see how centered that is, how perfect that is, and where that is, and the smell. It's literally brand spanking new. Yeah, it definitely has that new car smell to it. This unboxing things like this, especially when they're vintage, is kind of cool actually. But yeah, it smells really, really fantastic. Anyway, so yeah, I can tell this was... Ooh, look what the shipping is done here. Oh yeah. Definitely been rocked around in shipping. But yeah, it's so smooth. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, brand new. Ooh, yeah, still has the plasticky peely piece on it. Alright, well, I need to put the camera down so I can pull this out, because I need both hands. Yeah, she definitely got Quirko twinkulated in shipping. That's for sure. But it's out. So now I can just go ahead and start getting the box stuff put back in there. Yeah, I'm definitely not going to throw the box away, obviously. I'm going to keep all of that. Okay, so now we need to get this put somewhere so we can actually take a closer look at it. Remember how I said it looked like it had been opened before? Well, so I got a closer inspection to the keyboard, and look at this. Someone jabbed at it too far with a knife, and you see a spot where the box was leaking, where there was water that had come through that crack. So I might have to contact the seller and see if I can get a little bit of a discount, because that's unfortunate. Otherwise, the system is completely mint, with the exception of that, because someone just did it with a knife. So, and it dripped on there, but eventually the box was taped back up. But, yeah. Anyways, it's not that big of a deal, but that's kind of unfortunate. Anyways, so let's go ahead and take a look at the machine itself. And now for what I consider the crown jewel. So, I have the machine out of the box. I got the box moved out of the way. So, let's take a closer look and see what we got here. So, that appears to be where the phone goes. So, I have the phone over here. It's kind of an interesting design. I'm wondering if that's for your shoulder, to put your shoulder on. Because I remember phones back in the day, people would have this up their ear and between their shoulder and their ear and be able to walk hands-free, but I could never do that. Anyways, kind of cool looking up there. So we have a speaker on that side with a USB jack, headphone jack, and the handset plug, which I left in the box because I don't want that out. And then we got a speaker on the other side. What is that? What is that? Is that a smart card reader? It might be. I wonder if you put a card in there, like a phone card or something. I'm not sure what that's for. I got to do some research. But yeah, look at that. So pretty. Let's look at the back side and see what we got going on back here. We have an Ethernet phone jack, of course. Power. 100 to 240 volts. So yeah, it should run on domestic power. No problem. Should run on domestic power. Now, I'm not sure how this machine comes apart, but I almost want to take it apart before I turn it on just to see what's on the inside, but because it's such an old machine, you know, I don't want to just plug it in because there could be a battery bomb in there. I don't know. So I want to do that first. But before I do that, I know you're all waiting for this. So here it goes. Oh, yeah. Oops. Crystal clear. Brand spanking new. It's kind of amazing, to be honest. Got some buttons there, including the power button. It's so shiny, I can literally see myself in the photo. That's neat. So let's get it up on the bench. And you know what? Let's take this thing apart and see what we got going on, because I want to know what's on the inside of this thing. But before I get carried away taking the computer apart, I wanted to take a closer look at this keyboard. Besides the unfortunate incident with the knife that some other person did, I was on closer inspection of the keyboard. I'm noticing it's completely different. Like, there are some custom symbols in here. You have your standard QWERTY layout, but then we've got, considering this is a Spanish machine, I'm not surprised, but it's kind of neat because I don't see that kind of stuff here in the United States. So the escape key is way over there, and I got something else over here. So I find that a very strange layout, but it's cool. It only has one clicker as well. So, okay, now we can get to taking the computer apart. So in order to take this apart, the first thing I wanted to do was get this foam pad down here so I don't ruin the front face of the machine that I just peeled the plastic off. But the other reason why I want to take this apart too is I want to back up the hard drive that's in here, because I don't know if it's been archived, I don't know what conditions it's in, and last thing I want to do is power it up and then the hard disk potentially fail and all the software completely lost to time. I don't want that happening. And it may have already happened, I don't know. Someone could have reloaded this machine before they boxed it up, because the box was open before, as we saw previously, so who knows at this point. But I want to do the backup first before we do anything else. Plus I want to inspect what's going on in here anyway, see if there's any bad caps, or just an overall inspection. It's a good idea. So I'm doing a quick look around to see what it's going to take to pull this apart. And from what I can tell, we've got snap clips that hold this together, but also we have these 4 screws, which appear to be security screws. So I'm going to need to grab my security bit set, which I already have over here. Oh, let's see if a T15 will fit. Nope, it doesn't look like it's a T15. It's probably a T10. So let's grab our T10. Yep, it's a T10. So we need a T10 to take this machine apart, which I'm going to do right now. Nope. It did not. Well, that was interesting. It literally broke the stem off the security bit. I mean, look at that. Just literally broke it off. This must be very, very soft metal. I bet it is. I bet I have to be a lot more careful with this. Yeah, it's the break. You literally can't. That's crazy. Well, let's see if I can break the rest of them, because why not? Yeah, it literally broke right off. Wow. Alright, I gotta put the camera down for this. Well, with all 4 of these screws and the stems broke off, it's definitely lost its virginity. Now, I didn't have to go all Dremel on it like 8-Bit Guy, but yeah, anyways. Ooh, that's kind of cool inside there. It's definitely all sandwiched up to be like an appliance. But wow, that's so clean. The foam's not even rotted yet. Usually this stuff disintegrates and causes a fun time. Yeah, this thing is... It still smells brand new. Tatung. Yeah, that's what I figured. Looks like it's a Tatung multi-sync monitor. So, it's definitely a multi-sync CRT. There's a fan up here. A fan-a-jigger. And then... little transformer down here. Yeah. I wonder if that's the part of the 220 to 110 conversion. Interesting. So, well, what's it gonna take? What is that? It's a piece of glue that came off of something. Alright, so what's it gonna take to get this apart? Is there a take apart manual? Nah, probably not. Now, I did see this. So the video cable comes up into the main neck board here. So we have our RGB signals, but we also have our composite sync, horizontal, vertical sync, and then possibly sense lines. So I wonder if this is just a VGA cable. I bet it is. I bet I could put another motherboard in here and turn this into a sleeper. Now, I would probably get chastised off the face of this planet But it's probably not a bad thought if, you know, if it's reversible, where you're not modifying something permanently. Like, I can just put a board in there and make it modern, but then take the board out and put the original board in like nothing ever happened. If I can get away with that, I might do it. Otherwise, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to mess with it. But, I don't know. This thing is just so cool. It reminds me a lot of the iMac. You know, and this is, because remember, E-Machines had that one machine that got them sued. I'm surprised Intel didn't get sued for this. Anyways, let's see. What can we do to take this apart? I think this has to come out. Yeah, because it goes all the way across, but I'm not sure how it comes out. I'll have to figure that out. Unless it slides out. It may just slide out from underneath it. Yeah, it may, because I got 2 Phillips screws here. So let me go ahead and take those out right now. Take these 2 Phillips screws out. Plastic's going straight into the plastic. Yeah, that's so strange that the dang stems broke off of those security screws, and it's just a T15 or T10 or what? Yeah, T15. That's what fit it. I tried to take it off with a T10, but it was just spinning around. So yeah, all right. Now these have to come out. I might need both hands for this because I don't want to drop this screw inside this machine. So let me put the camera down for that. So here's what I found out so far. So these 2 buttons here, you push them down, which releases a tab. Then I had to take this guy and get it under here and pull the front face out. So I was able to get the front face removed. And the one thing I've noticed right away, now that I got the front face completely removed, is this thing is starting to develop stress fractures from age. Like you can see one right there. There's one right there. Yeah, let me pause this for a second and get it laid down. Alright, so if you look carefully, you can see a crack there. So we got a crack there, then we have one right there. That's not a surface scratch, that's actually a crack. There's one there too. One here, and I saw a few this way. There's there. You can see the stress cracks, and there's one going up this way too. It's not that visible, but they are there, and it's this type of plastic. So this plastic is made out of the same stuff that a lot of the computers were at that time, and they're starting to crack. There's one even there too. You can see it. Just from shrinkage, I suppose. So, yep, age is starting to get to her. Oh yeah, I can feel it. Yep. So, anyways, just got to be super careful with this if you're going to remove the front face. But with the front face off, we can see where there could be a CD-ROM drive. So, I'm not sure what chassis this was originally for. But, anyway, so there's all these other screws that now have to come out so I can get this thing apart. Because I bet this thing's got to be torn all the way apart to get to the hard drive. So, well, looks like that's what we're going to have to do. So, let's just keep plugging away at it. Alright, so when taking the sides off, you got to be careful and pop the clips on the top and bottom. I already slipped on that one a little bit, but anyway, so. But then there's this wire right there. That brown, black, twisted pair that has to unplug from the speaker jack here before you can remove it. So we got to do that, and then we have to do the same thing on the other side. So when we slide it out, and we have this guy here. Yep, be careful because there's a plug right there. So we have that guy, and then we're going to slide. You can see the tongue and groove where they come together right there. So we'll slide you out. Same thing, we got a bunch of wires here that I've got to be super careful with, but I got to spin this around so I can get to it. So let me get the camera out of the way. So I got the covers off now, This cover on this side, I had to tip this thing up so I can get in here, unwrap the little tie wrap and unplug it. But I got it out, and I also unplugged that top cover, and it's kind of glued in, so you have to really pull at it. But wow, this thing is mint. 0 hours. This is what a 0 hours monitor computer setup looks like. Not an ounce of dust. It's quite, I don't know. I'm just astonished because I've not owned a CRT that's been brand new before. Not like this. This is because a lot of this stuff was made, while I was in school, and I had no job, no money, none of that. Ooh, that one's coming off. To stick that back on. Yeah, that ain't gonna work. Who made the CRT? Chunghwa 2, but I see a Tatung sync processor down there. So, yeah, so that's out. Now that the covers are off, I want to tip this back up and figure out what it's going to take to get the motherboard out. I'm trying to be careful here. Yeah, this thing is mint. I can't get over it. Power supply appears to be combo. Monitor and the computer run off the same power supply. There's the ATX connector in there. So let's see. What does it take? The hard drive looks like it's not in a good place to get to. It's probably right here in the front. So getting to that means taking the whole assembly off. So I've got 3 screws on that side. I got 3 screws on this side. The whole thing probably tips out. Now, I'm going to have to unplug some stuff. Probably the ATX connector. I can see that cable snakes all the way through there from over here. So yeah, I'm going to work on this a little bit and get this out. Alright, so in order to get this out, like I said earlier, we got to pull these 3 screws here, these 3 screws here. But there's also 2 screws in the front that have to come out as well. And then the thing will hinge down. So while you hinge it down, you can hinge it down and then turn it sideways, which is what I did so we can get to these plugs. Because that plug has to come out, then the ATX plug has to come out, which is here and here. This plug went to the side speakers and things, and it can just kind of stay with it. Now, I'm looking at this thing, and again, I just can't get over how new it looks, because, well, it's new. I mean, there's no hours on it. But I do have one major concern, and that is right here. I'm looking at the capacitors. I mean, look what they all are. They're Elite brand. Oh, it gets worse. Capixon. Oh, jeez. So, this thing is full of those Elite and Capixon caps. They're all the way through here. The whole thing. It's just... yeah, it's the whole... and this thing was manufactured in 2001... so that makes sense because that was right in the middle of the capacitor plague era. So these boards are all plagued out. Now, this thing's never been used, so the caps would work, but they're not going to last that long. You might get a couple of years out of them with continuous usage, and then it's gone. They're going to go bad. So eventually, all of those caps are going to have to go just based on the fact that those are plague counterfeit capacitors. So, in the meantime, it's going to work fine, and the amount of usage I'm going to do this thing, it'll probably be alright. But, if you want to preserve this thing, they're really going to have to be replaced. So, even though they're new, they're going to have to be replaced if you want it to last. Alright, so now we got to move this aside, and we get to this guy, so we can get this whole sandwich thing apart. I had to unplug these 2 plugs, which is here and here on the main power supply unit, as well as this, which is the VGA cable that plugs in here. Alright, so in order to get the lid off, we just have 3 screws here to remove. There's 2 screws here, and then we got to move the cable out of the way. So, in theory, if I just do that, and judging by this, I guarantee the hard drive's under here. So, alright, let's see what it takes to move this out of my way. Or can I? Okay, so I got one more screw I got to remove. Chassis mounting screw right there. Chassis mount screw, which holds the ground connection for the power. Alright, here we go. Wow, Samsung Spin Point. 10 gigabytes from 2001. Revision A. June. So this is brand new. Still has the original drive. We have a modern, well, modern-ish, but a standard PC motherboard. Oh, that's cool. The VGA cable is plugged in straight down instead of 90 degrees. And it's got a cover here for the ATX style plate. So an ATX plate would go here. Which unfortunately means if I put a modern motherboard in here, I'd have to modify this, and I don't want to do that. I'd have to cut this out and put a standard ATX backplate in here. I don't like that because then this would go away. No. I don't like that. Looks like it's a socket 370 Celeron or Pentium. Socket 370. What kind of RAM is in there? 64 megabytes. Of what style? Is it SD RAM? PC 100. Yeah, SD RAM. So 64 megs of SD RAM is what we have in this machine. The modem. That's weird. So this board here is serving multiple purposes. It's the modem as well as all of this stuff. Phone. Yep, there's the phone connection. And what is this? Keypad. Oh! So you need special drivers then, because this must be going out to the front panel controls. The brightness, audio, all that stuff is probably right here. It says right here. Keypad. And then this, yep, that's going to the front panel control button on the motherboard. So this is a junction. Does this contain the audio power amplifier as well? The onboard audio hardware? Yeah, there's the audio. So this thing, that's kind of cool actually. But the real prize is right here. But, wow, that's loose. Listen to that. Wow. Okay, that might be normal. I don't think so, though. But anyway, so IDE hard drive, as expected, 10 gigabyte. I'm going to back this guy up so I can get the original software off of the drive. But on the same time, I want to see what else is in here. So if we, let's see here. Oh, come on. Magnetic. Move you over there because that's where I'm putting them. So you come out of the way. Goes out of the way. So that frees that up. So I have... Yeah, that's just an extender cable. So that's kind of neat though. So it's a modem, but it's proprietary. Intel, yeah, it's a proprietary Intel product. This is probably a 56K modem, judging by when it came out. So we're going to unplug you. We're going to leave you just like that. I'm going to unplug the phone, because I'm going to take this board out, because I want to see underneath it audio. This is probably the front panel controls. So that goes to the front panel. Then, take that out. I really don't like using a drill, but that's what I'm going to do because that's what I have on hand at the moment. Alright, so that's done. Let's see, how hard is this going to be to get out? So obviously it uses a 90-degree PCI adapter. It's not wanting to come up. Oh yeah, that's why. So, alright, I want to put the camera down because there's a standoff here. Alright, that's removed. So, it's an Intel, it probably has Intel drivers. So that's probably bad. Intel interface on board for the... Let's see, what are you? Okay, this is audio. It's using the onboard audio. Okay. There's the IDE, and what do you go to? So you are definitely going to the front panel controls input. So what are you? USB front panel. It's going into this harness assembly. This is definitely a pass-through harness, so yeah, that's cool. Alright, who made this board? There's an E1 number there. So what are you? What are you? Front panel. That's also front panel. FP2. There's the audio plug. Green because that's the modem. Yeah, I don't know if these are good caps or bad caps or not. I don't know yet. But yeah, you'd have to cut this whole thing out if you're gonna put a regular motherboard in here. So I may skip out on that. Or if I do, what I'll do is I'll pull it out and I'll put like an ITX board in here or something and just kind of like leave it on the inside or something. If I were to, sleeper mod this, but I don't know that I will. Oh, there we go. Intel desktop board M0810E. Alright, so this is probably an off-the-shelf board that's got a different connector on it. Instead of going a 90 degree, they just put it straight down. That's cool. Alright, so let's get this hard drive out of here so I can get it backed up. Wrong. I took a closer look. This cable here, that's just kind of run over. If I look at the board, it says serial port. So this is a UART. So there's a UART. I wonder. 16C550, that's a UART controller. I wonder then. Okay, so we got the front panel's here. So that's the front panel. But I'm curious, I guess the additional control buttons would be tunneled through this. This is maybe there's a microcontroller in here and it sends serial commands. That would be interesting. But that's entirely possible. Instead of using USB, they're using serial. DSP. I'm assuming right now because I don't know, but that would be kind of neat if the front panel buttons, the volume up, down, brightness up, down, the monitor control signals for, adjusting the geometry of the monitor and all that crap, may be done through this serial port using their specialized Intel software. The dot station software probably sends all of those control signals through this serial port, which is COM1. This is guaranteed COM1. Sends it to here, and this does all the controlling for the front panel buttons and stuff. Because the front panel power button is going to go right into this control like normal. Same thing with the reset button. But there's a bunch of things there that you would normally have, like a network LED. What else was there? Yeah, I think the network LED was there. There's the handset button, and there's a bunch of miscellaneous buttons throughout that whole thing that a standard motherboard's not going to have. So you're going to need an additional controller to handle that, whether it's a USB HID interface, which is what you would use today. But they didn't use USB HID in 2001. Instead, they just used the serial. So there is likely this is probably the microcontroller. So not only is this a modem, but this is also the front panel controller for the additional buttons. And the monitor's geometry control is probably handled through this as well, but I don't know. Because the monitor is going to have geometry settings for, height, width, keystoning, stuff like that. And this is probably what handles that, and it's through the dot station software. But it's only a guess at this point. So, alright, let's get this hard drive out. Figured I would include this part just in case. people were curious. But what I like to do when I recover these hard drives into images, I grab the hard drive itself, and I have this cheap Vantech, nothing special, IDE SATA crapper majigger, and I'm going to go ahead and plug the power into the adapter here. Yeah, so we got power. Ooh. Hear that? So it will not fire. No. Alright, well, just in case, I'm going to plug the adapter into the USB and see if it will do anything remotely interesting. It's trying. Heads are stuck. Okay, this is a terrible idea. So what I want to do to recover this drive, if I can, no good. So this drive is no good. It probably sat so long that the heads are seized to the platter. So, and I've had to deal with this before. The drive's junk anyway, so what I'm probably going to do is I'm going to take this drive apart and try to free up the platter carefully and seeing if I can get this thing to run long enough so I can back up the image with HDD raw copy tool, which is speed capped. There's no way to buy a version that isn't. It's just, that's the way it is. But for a 10 gigabyte drive, that it doesn't matter. So I'm going to see if I can't recover that drive. So now instead of backing it up, we're in recovery mode. So yeah, that situation evolved rapidly now, didn't it? Alright, so I just got the screws out, and I don't recommend anybody doing this unless you know what you're doing. This is a very bad idea, and if your drive has precious data on it, and you screw this up, that's on you and not on me. So, with a disclaimer out of the way, I want to do this quickly because I don't want to even so much as to breathe on this drive. So, let's take a look at what we have inside here. Alright. Alright, so right away we've got a problem. The head should not be in the middle here. So, that's not good. Oh, listen. Oh, no, I don't like that. So, alright, I'm going to have to put the camera down, but I'm going to try to get this head back into the landing zone, which should be closer towards the center here. So, let's get that to the landing zone and then see if there's any hope of this drive even working at all. Carefully rotating the platter while moving that, trying to avoid damage. I'm sure it's not going to matter, but hey, it's worth a shot. So the head is now back in the landing zone, and we're going to go ahead and put the lid back on so we can try to recover this drive. Alright, well, screws are back on. Here goes nothing. Nope. So this thing has seen better days. She will not spin. Almost makes me wonder if that little dimple in the chip. No, that's not it. It will not fire. Alright, so I may have to attempt to fire this thing with the lid off, which is dangerous. You can't really do that on these more modern drives. Not like an old 40 megabyte Quantum from a Macintosh SE anyways. You can run those all day long with the lid off, but these, not so much. Alright, well, we gotta investigate this further. Unfortunately, it's got a bad board. Yep. The board. At this point, the only hope of ever even attempting to recover this drive, I'm going to need another drive that's identical to this one so I can swap the boards. And that's assuming the heads aren't damaged from being out of the landing zone. Not good. Software might be lost forever. I'm sure other people have copies, but I don't. So, that's a showstopper. Alright, so I think I'm going to branch it off right here. I'll be back on this video once I can get this machine running again. Possibly a new drive. Kind of defeats the whole experience because I don't have the software anymore. So, alright. So, I went on eBay and I ordered a new board to try to repair this hard drive over here. So this board is revision 01. So I do not know if this is going to work because this is older and I cannot find the newer version. But it's the only thing I have. It's the only thing I can find. So this is my last ditch effort to try to see if I can get this drive to work. Because if you look, this is revision 06. So we're going to see if we can get this drive to work and if there's the original software on it at all and if we can recover it. Now, in the meantime, or in the in-between time, I did find out that there's been a couple images made of this machine originally already, and it's on the internet somewhere, but I want to see what's on this drive, if there's anything that's not been archived, or who knows. So I want to find out, and I'm going to put this board in it, and we're going to see what the hell happens. Alright, I got the board installed. I mean, if it doesn't work, the extreme last ditch effort would be just to move the motor controller to this board if there's a firmware mismatch or something like that, but I don't really care enough about the data on this drive to go that far with it. So let's see if we can't get this guy to work. I'm hoping. Okay, there's that. I need power. And here we go. Same problem. Huh. Well, I either A, got a bad board, they sold me a bad board, or B, the motor's bad. Because it's doing the same ticking that the original board did. That really makes me think motor. So yeah, this drive is done. Whatever contents was on this drive has been lost. So that's a shame. It is what it is, though. We'll just have to move on and just use what's already on the internet. Well, that escalated quickly. But yeah, I decided to just to kind of satisfy my curiosity. I measured the resistances, the windings, and I had one that was open. So that's why I should have checked that before I went out and ordered a board. But hey, you just never know sometimes. I was kind of hoping for the best, but oh well, sometimes it's how the cookie crumbles. So whatever was on that disc is anyways. Well, in the meantime, if you enjoyed this video, thank you for watching, and don't forget to hit the like and subscribe, and leave a comment and all that fun stuff. So, dang. Until next time, guys.